Somebody said something to me that I think is something that we need to discuss and we need to share as young investors and wealth builders and generational wealth changers. Somebody said to me if I love risk because they're aware of what I do in terms of my own investment portfolio, and say I'm always on the cutting edge. And I took it to mean that people don't necessarily understand how you move from one level of wealth to the next. Principles like diversification, where people spread their investments across a broad number of their funds across a broad number of investments, to limit the risk. If one thing I learned throughout all of my education is that less risk equals less reward. The aim is not to eliminate risk, the aim is to manage risk. So as young budding investors and people seeking out financial freedom, you have to realize that you're going to have to embrace risk. There's an innate risk in every activity, and there's latent risk all around us every day. You could hit your little toe and the door corner. You could step off a bus and that be the end of it. So you have to just accept the possibility that things can go wrong. And once you're aware that you're now able to take steps, knowing that it doesn't matter what you do necessarily, there always exists the possibility for things to go wrong. What you can do is try and manage the probability of things going wrong to the extent that it's actually a manageable situation. So you have to learn to take risks. So when people hear me speak about cryptocurrency and they say, "Wow, that's way out there. What do you know about cryptocurrency? Is this thing real? What are the regulations?" Of course, there are inherent risks in cryptocurrency. One of the largest risks is the possibility of regulation or some kind of like a prohibition thing. What I'm confident in is the fact that history has continued to repeatedly prove that nothing can stop the world, nothing can stop the torrent of innovation and the force of people. Alcohol was once illegal. Everybody is drinking alcohol once they're at the legal age. Cigarettes, to some extent, were lobbied for, just to give you the other side of the spectrum. Something bad, something that was very risky was lobbied for and was made available. So it's not necessarily about logic in terms of how people accepting society are turning it down. And as such, you have to gear your view in terms of what is the possibility and will you be able to manage the risk. Marijuana was once illegal in America, and you have to realize also that there's the idea that industries and persons, if they're not wealthier persons, if they're not prepared, I'm not saying the system, if it is not being advantageous to the right persons, they will find ways to stop various things from happening. Like for example, in Jamaica there was the coconut oil industry, and there was a big thing. I don't have the details, but I remember my father clearly telling me there was a time when they said coconut oil run up cholesterol and kill off people. And now in my prime years, I'm seeing where coconut oil is like a top highly sought out and demanded commodity. But during that time when it wasn't, how to say, profitable for other countries, industries and what they had on their plate, they stamped us out in terms of our local coconut industry. And then now they are selling coconut oil all over the world like it is some precious commodity. We had it. The entire industries, we had jobs and people living based on our coconut industry in Jamaica. So, and clearly now that's not the case, because obviously they have done more research apparently. And now they are aware that it is something that's viable for us. And that's the nature of securities and investments as well. For example, crypto, somebody will say crypto is bad, it's risky, it's not a real thing. And then these same individuals will come back around full 180 and be telling you that, oh, now they have a better understanding of it. They have been invested in it for 5 years, when 6 years ago they told you not to invest in it. And now 5 years later they're telling you 6 years later they're telling you we have been in it for 5 years. So you have to be cognizant of the fact that people who are transforming their lives and generating wealth are always people who are taking risks, and they're not necessarily the best persons to listen to on a public scale. And you need to understand that crypto is the future, whether whether which country banned. India has banned, I think has banned Bitcoin or banned crypto. But the reality is that it cannot stop something that they cannot shut down. They can ban it and say you can't use it in their country. But the reality is that nobody can stop crypto from being used anywhere. You understand? But the nature of crypto is that it's decentralized. No one can stop it. So the reality, most MBAs are going to tell you, they're not going to stop the technology. What they're going to try and do is see if they can integrate it in the current system in order to still maintain some level of control and some level of profit making of capacity from it. So crypto to me is like, it's a no-brainer. A lot of people are going to say, what is backing this crypto and what's the real asset and what's it tied to the real world? And I'm saying nothing in none of this is tied to the real world. These materials, and people are living online. People live their entire lives, and people, as Tesla, as Elon Musk said, people are already, there's androids, people are already androids. Your phone is like, you're attached to a computer. People are online. It is so obvious to me. The future is just so, it is just the next inevitable step in where we need to be. Take for example, if China don't ban cryptocurrency, it should say something to you. China believes in maintaining a certain higher degree of control on their population, and they have not banned cryptocurrency. What they have done is created their own digital currency, and even in Jamaica here, the central bank digital currency in which they're trying to implement. The reality is that they can't stop it. It's a torrent, and the fact that China has their own digital currency will only mean that USA will have to step up to the plate with some kind of digital currency, or better yet, tying themselves, which is what US is already doing, tie themselves into the already existing ecosystem of decentralized cryptocurrency by allowing institutions to, specifically most recently Coinbase, to join to do IPOs and be a part of the actual financial system. Because the reality is that if China becomes the only country with some grip on digital currency and online dominance, it's going to be a problem. Because right now there's a struggle for power all over the world, and I don't know if people are not aware. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but this struggle is continuous. It's not a new thing. It's not a changing thing. It will not end now. It's just a new frontier. And the reality is that you have to learn to see the risk, see the future, be able to look past your innate fear and bias, and think about things logically. That is why crypto can't fail. Crypto can't fail because if China succeeds and there is no crypto for America or the other states to latch on to provide some sense of transparency and safety and lack of a more secure way of doing transactions, that China can just literally block them up. Because you have to remember, there are other issues around this. Like for example, China is now minting contracts with Africa and other partners across various sections of the world. They have lots of projects. Some of them are failing, but they have a lot of projects. And the reality is that they are now quoting their projects. Sorry, this throwing off my lighting. They're now quoting their projects in Chinese currency. So they are trying to liberate themselves from the global financial system of the past, which is US being the primary currency for the world. So crypto is, as I said, it's inevitable. Crypto is the next step. Everything goes online. Finance now will have to have DeFi, decentralized crypto or decentralized finance. The concept behind it is just too powerful. It just provides too much freedom for people, and it's just something that they literally can't shut down. How can you shut down something that's everywhere? And that's the principle, and there are different types of crypto for different types of people. If you want to have a store of value, everybody is aware of Bitcoin. You want to look at using a blockchain system to make smarter, lower costing, faster transactions. You have Ethereum, you have Cardano. There's a crypto for there's literally cryptos popping up all over the place. No, I'm not saying all of them are going to survive, but if you're a sensible person looking for exposure, they're always saying take 1% of your money and put in crypto and bet on the big guys. You don't need to be, you can if you want, venture off into exotic cryptocurrencies. It's not necessarily my speed. I do have some, but stick with a Bitcoin, stick with a Ethereum. You know, there are a few others, major players, but I'll just say, for entry level person looking to get in crypto, it's not risky, it's inevitable. And it's not that risk is a bad thing, it's about risk management. And I would say get invested. That's the biggest step in it. Get invested. People say I'm not into risk, I'm into risk management. And that's where we all are. And I think the Jamaican people out there, and the Caribbean people, and the Caribbean diaspora, and black people, and everybody, it just makes sense that we get invested. You start to take advantage of the system that exists around you. Don't fight the system. Understand the system, utilize the system, and transform through the system. So it's not that I am risky, it's that I am prepared and I'm willing to manage risk, and I have an outlook for the future, and I have confidence in my outlook, because at the end of the day it's my financial resources at risk, and that's what everybody needs to do. Provide some sense of financial security about your decisions for yourself as you go through the processes, and that should be enough. That should be enough to allow you to take some action and to change your life. Alright folks, good night. It was a good talk. I know, as I said, this is a stream of consciousness. It's not exactly the most organized or clear, but it is real, and it is what's on my mind. Thanks again for tuning in. Like, share and subscribe.